Hey, how are you doing? Needless to say, religion makes people believe one way doctrine that must be absolute, no matter how unreasonable contents are found from it. So, for believers, they are not allowed to discuss the reasonability of the contents of the doctrine or Bible. Rather, in the first place, earnest believers only have one perspective of the religion, that they understand the Bible as it says. So they don't even think of presuming the various possibilities and the various way of thinking prior to believing in the doctrine from a wider perspective, no matter how many contradictory contents there are in there. So it seems to me, regardless what kind of religion that is, there are a certain number of believers who abandon thinking the contents of the doctrine logically to find out the abstract essence of the Bible that allows us to use in various situations in different times. But a certain believers assume that contents written on the Bible are everything. So to understand what the founder of the religion says when he established it, we firstly understand the history background of the religion when the religion was established, and why the founder of the religion used this kind of metaphors or examples in a doctrine to explain his lessons to believers, and what kind of person the founder of the religion was back in when the religion was established. And the Bible or doctrine was just a book that apprentices and disciples or believers edited what the founder of the religion said. So the contents of the doctrine is quite biased depending on the person who edited it. So it is not necessarily that real intention of the founder of the religion is reflected on the doctrine, on the Bible. So rather, mostly Bible or of any religions on the earth have become a dead letter which was totally away from the essence or real intention of the founder of the religion with the times. So as an outsider, regardless of what kind of religion that is, believers just believe what they really want to believe, and they're quite exclusive to what they don't want to believe. So in my opinion, people born in the period of time that the founder of the religion doesn't exist have to ascertain the essence of what the founder of the religion really wanted to say back then. So by presuming various possibilities with a wider perspective, even if the activity this kind of activities knocks the bottom out of the modern concept of the doctrine or Bible. So this is the thing that believers must do. So otherwise believers become just a puppet that accepts everything possibly from the religion without any objections. So I think actually believers are just a puppet because they don't even pursue the essence of the Bible in the pretext of faith. So do you really think the founder of the religion who gave people idealistic lessons to believers was just, narrow-minded, like he dared to lay restraint on believers' activity through his lessons? Do you really think the founder of the religion hoped believers to move like a robot without having any objections and doubts against the religion? Do you really think that Christ was arrogant enough to ask believers to deify as the God, although nobody could know if he became the God after his death? And there are some foods that the religions prohibit people to eat in order to make people refrain from killing animals unnecessarily. But do you really think the founder of the religion was as narrow-minded as he didn't consider the degree of individual spiritual growth and the times that this lesson was naturally spread among believers with believers growth and with the times? So I won't say what religion it is, but apparently, regarding food prohibition of the certain religion, apparently the food preference of the founder of the religion was reflected in the Bible with an artificial reason that probably disciples or apprentices made after the death of this founder. So it's like founder of the religion didn't want to eat it, so disciples or apprentices took it as a food prohibition implicitly, and they added in to the food perception on the Bible. In the first place, why does Christ need to be deified as a God? In order to preserve believers' faith, did he really need to be deified as a God with fictional stories, even though his lesson itself are splendid enough? In my consideration, precepts existing in any religions that restrains believers were made by disciples and the past believers in the pretext to embody the lessons of the founder of the religion faithfully. But it's totally nonsense and useless that for people to just imitate superficial contents of the doctrine without understanding the real intention of the founder of the religion. So in the religious history, the various separate religions from the same origin of the religion generated in the past because of the difference of interpretation of the Bible or something. But after all, they similarly set precepts with plausible reasons to easily control believers. And even contents of the Bible of those religions are away from the essence, away from the real intention of the founder of the religion. So they want believers with no objections. So they also made same mistakes. Separate religions also made the same mistake that they misjudged the nature of what the founder of the religion said. After all, doctrine or Bible is just I think it is my opinion. It is my opinion. But after all, doctrine or Bible is just an indicator that illuminates your life path when you're in trouble, and nothing more, nothing less. So, and how the Bible or doctrine is interpreted should all depend on the believers, but this should not be determined. The interpretation should not be determined by the religion uniformly to make believers obey the doctrine without any objections or any doubts. Because we just keep learning with tremendous amount of doubts, and we just overcome the solution to find out what the doubt is, and we individually get close to the essence of the doctrine in accordance with our spiritual growth. In the process of journey to find the essence of the doctrine, there should be the moment that you can understand something that you didn't understand before in accordance with your growth. So this is the correct way of learning, of believing in the religion. So pushing the precepts and pushing the uniform concepts and the uniform contents of the doctrine of the Bible to the believers will bring the misunderstanding in believers' mind forever. If being forced to obey the uniform contents of the doctrine or Bible in religion is just a factory to make a robot, even if it is just Christianity. So still philosophy is more trustful and variable than the religion, in a sense that it accepts diversity and criticism that will develop discussion with various sense of value and various different perspectives. Don't you think so?